Do you ever feel like you're stuck in a loop? You swear you'll never date someone emotionally distant again, or work for another hypercritical boss, but somehow you find yourself right back in the same painful dynamic. Different person, different city, different year, but the feeling is exactly the same, not good enough, overlooked, or trapped in chaos. You might think it's just terrible luck or a strange coincidence. It's not. There's a powerful unconscious force at play called repetition compulsion. This is your mind's desperate, hidden attempt to go back to the scene of an old crime, a childhood wound, and finally get it right this time. But the tragedy is, this strategy never works, and today we're going to understand why and how to finally break the cycle. So what exactly is repetition compulsion? The concept was first explored by Sigmund Freud, who noticed a strange human tendency. We don't just passively remember painful or traumatic experiences. We actively, unconsciously seek to repeat them. It's a compulsion, meaning it's a drive that feels beyond our conscious control. Why on earth would our minds do this? Why would we be drawn toward what hurts us? Well, from your unconscious mind's perspective, it makes a strange kind of sense. Unresolved trauma, especially from childhood, leaves what we can think of as an open loop in your psyche. It's an unfinished story, a question without an answer. Part of you believes, on a deep, primal level, if I can just recreate this situation and win this time, if I can finally get the love, the approval, the safety I didn't get back then I can close the loop and heal the original wound. The problem is, you can't. You're trying to get water from a dry well. The past cannot be fixed by reenacting it in the present. This is all powered by the quiet, hopeful whisper of your unconscious mind. This time will be different. When you find yourself attracted to an emotionally unavailable partner who reminds you of a distant parent, your unconscious isn't thinking, great, more pain. It's thinking, but this person will finally choose me. Their love will prove I was always worthy. When you take a high-stress, chaotic job that feels just like your unpredictable childhood home, a part of you believes, but this time I'll be the one to bring order. This time I will create stability and feel safe. You're not choosing pain because you're a masochist. You're choosing a familiar wound because your psyche genuinely believes it can finally heal it by winning the game you lost as a child. It's a strategy for healing, but it's a tragically flawed one because you're casting new people in old roles and expecting a different script. You might wonder why these painful dynamics feel so magnetic, so familiar, almost like home. That's because, in a way, they are. Trauma and early life experiences carve deep neural pathways in our brain. Your nervous system learns to associate certain feelings and dynamics with what it knows as love or home, even if that environment was painful. If criticism was the only form of attention you got, then criticism can feel strangely like connection. If your home was chaotic, then chaos can feel like energy and aliveness. If the people who were supposed to love you were emotionally unavailable, then that emotional distance can become your template for love. So when a genuinely healthy, stable, and available person comes along, it can feel wrong, foreign, boring, even a little threatening. Your system doesn't recognize it as love because it doesn't match the pattern that was carved into you by your early experiences. We end up mistaking the intense anxiety of a toxic dynamic for intimacy, the drama and chaos for passion, and the pain for proof that the relationship matters. Let's look at some common patterns. Maybe you find yourself repeatedly dating people who are highly critical, just like a parent you could never please. You're unconsciously seeking the approval you never got, but you've chosen someone who is fundamentally incapable of giving it. Or maybe you keep choosing partners who are emotionally unavailable or likely to leave, recreating an old abandonment wound over and over. You might be drawn to chaotic, unstable friendships or jobs because that unpredictability feels like home. Some of us become rescuers, constantly trying to fix broken people in an unconscious attempt to save the parent or family member we couldn't save as a child. And one of the most common ones, constantly chasing people who don't want you, replaying a core story of rejection. Each of these repetitions is a subconscious attempt to master the old trauma. But without awareness, you're not mastering it. you're just digging the wound deeper. Now here's a tricky part of the psychology. Repetition compulsion can create an illusion of control. It feels different when you walk into the fire versus being thrown into it. By choosing a familiar, painful dynamic, your unconscious mind thinks, I chose this, so I'm in control of the pain. It feels less like being a victim and more like having agency. But this is a complete illusion. You aren't controlling the pain. You are enslaved by it. You aren't choosing freely. You are being driven by an old wound that is demanding to be seen and healed. True control, true agency doesn't come from walking into the same trap over and over, believing you'll magically find a new way out. True control comes from recognizing the trap for what it is and consciously choosing not to walk into it at all. So how do we break free from this powerful unconscious cycle? The first and most crucial step is recognition. You have to be willing to look at the patterns in your life with radical, unflinching honesty. Get out a journal, talk to a therapist, or just sit quietly and map it out. Look at your romantic relationships, your friendships, your jobs. What is the recurring theme? What is the painful dynamic that keeps showing up? Who from your childhood does this person or this situation remind you of? What are you secretly trying to prove, win, or fix by being here? When you can finally name it, when you can say, oh, I'm recreating my relationship with my critical father by choosing partners who make me feel small, the compulsion starts to lose its power. Consciousness is the antidote to compulsion. Shining a light on the pattern takes it out of the shadows of the unconscious and into the realm of conscious choice. Once you see the pattern, the next step is to stop trying to win the past. This is a profound mental shift. You must accept the heartbreaking truth that you cannot heal your childhood wounds by recreating them in the present with different actors. The unavailable partner is not going to suddenly become available and prove your worth. The critical boss is not going to suddenly shower you with praise and validate you. You are trying to get your deepest needs met by people who are, by definition, incapable of meeting them. Just like the original person probably was, the only way forward is to grieve. Grieve for the love you didn't get. Grieve for the safety you didn't have. Grieve for the approval that never came. And then, you must begin the sacred work of meeting those needs for yourself now, and choosing people who are actually capable of meeting you where you are. Stop playing the unwinnable game. The only winning move is not to play. Finally, breaking the compulsion requires you to consciously choose the unfamiliar, which is often what is healthy. This will feel counterintuitive and uncomfortable at first. That stable, kind partner who communicates clearly might feel boring. That's your trauma talking. It's your nervous system, accustomed to chaos, misinterpreting peace as a lack of passion. Choose them anyway. A healthy workplace that's calm and respectful might feel too quiet. That's your system craving the familiar hit of adrenaline from a crisis. Stay there anyway. A person who is genuinely available and interested in you from the start might feel scary. That's because real intimacy requires vulnerability, which is terrifying if you're used to chasing the unavailable. Lean in anyway. You have to actively and consciously retrain your nervous system to recognize health, stability, and kindness as your new home. You are creating a new template for what love and safety feel like. Repetition compulsion keeps you locked in an endless loop, recreating the past, desperately hoping for a different outcome, but always ending up with the same old pain. The wound doesn't heal by reliving it. It heals by recognizing it, by grieving what you didn't get, and by finally, bravely choosing differently. You cannot change the past by replaying it with new actors, but you absolutely can break the pattern by becoming conscious of it. The moment you stop trying to win the old rigged game and decide to start playing a new one where you're on your own side, the compulsion loses its grip. This is how you finally truly break free. Thank you so much for watching. If this resonated, please consider subscribing for more content like this. Take care of yourself.